Welcome to Nerds Amalgamated, a podcast that covers the latest events in science, pop culture, and gaming.
I'm the professor, aspiring game developer, sci-fi aficionado, and completely and undeniably a geek trying to take over the world. I'll be breaking down the news from tech to gaming.
I am the DJ, a humble nerd, a big weeb,
and a watcher from the halls of the multiverse.
Just kidding. Anyways, I'll be breaking down all things comics to movies to anime.
Join us and stay hydrated as we quench you with witty banter, unintentionally hilarious hot takes, and trivia more fun than a night at the pub, courtesy of Nerds Amalgamated.
And welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. How's it going there, Professor?
It's gone pretty good, DJ.
Man, what a crazy week it has been, hey?
Don't bring it up.
Okay, aside from the craziness that's happened out in the real world, the Gorillaz had a new album, and I've only cried on the first track, and I couldn't go through with the next few tracks. I was like, so good. This album is so good.
And Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red just came out, and the US is getting involved in a forever war in the Middle East. What year is it?
Hey, the Middle East stuff, that was not in my bingo card, but the Pokemon stuff, oh man, I've been seeing a lot of craziness been going on about that. Especially the starting Pokemon, and how people are like, what the hell is this?
Oh, the starters from the new game that just got announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got Blue Lizard, It Heckin' Wimdy, and the third one is so forgettable I've forgotten who it is.
What the? It's like, why? Why is this happening? Oh, but we should keep going with our topics. So we've got big Stop Killing Games news. Frozen in Mars, and Paramount comes on top against Netflix. So, Professor, take it away with the big Stop Killing Games news.
Well, after what must be at least 9 months, we've got an update from Russ Scott on Stop Killing Games. And the key takeaways are that there's still a path to win this. Multiple paths. They're creating NGOs to continue lobbying. And the European Commission just had a big meeting with the Stop Killing Games movement last week, which basically amounted to getting the movement out there so that they know what's going on. Because, politics isn't so much whether you're right or wrong, it's who you know. So knowing the people is an important part of that.
So, is this a big win for the gamers?
Not yet. It's the kind of news that is more like things are going in a good direction, but I wouldn't call it a win yet.
I would say it was a win when the EU Commission finally accepted the petition.
Yes, I've handed over the petition, the Citizens Initiative.
Yeah.
Along with the bajillion signatures that it got.
And after so much verification of it, yep, it's all good.
Yep.
And the press conference as well, that was another big win as well. And I've been told like a couple of people also are at the press conference, like Josh Strife says, for example.
Yeah, I don't follow him. What is the deal with him there?
He wanted to be part of the press conference. Apparently, that's what I've heard. But yeah. But it says here the press conference, which was held at Brussels on the 23rd of February 2026, hosted at the European Parliament, organisers in the ECI delegation lead and campaign figures presented the petition, thanked supporters, and spoke to media. The event was streamed on Twitch, further discussed the campaign's journey, invited community participation and questions. Some parts of the recorded talk, participants noted that while the Commission might not be keen to adopt the initiative directly into law, parliamentary discussion and broader political process will still carry the issue forward.
Yeah, that's the thing. They said that during the live stream. There was question time.
Yeah.
So the politicians are sort of like, why should I care? And it seems to be split about 50-50 between the why should I care politicians and the politicians who do care about. I'm going to guess, wild, complete nonsense guess, that's an age division.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to guess the people who don't care about it are old. But yeah, getting it out there and in front of the commission is a big part of making sure that it's something they have to think about. They can't just ignore it. And with the NGOs that are being set up, there's going to be continued lobbying. So yeah, they're not going to be able to sweep it under the rug.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's gonna be more than just preservation. It's gonna be a lot of things involved. Like consumer rights, for example.
Yeah, and that's why the key focus is on Europe. Although it's still going through the ACCC in Australia,
Yeah.
the key focus is on Europe because at the moment, France and Germany are the key areas where Ruscott is focusing because Europe has the strongest consumer rights laws. In fact, the impression I got is that they were basically told by American lawyers when they were looking at bringing it in the US, don't bother, there's no path to success here, go to Europe. And conveniently, Ross Scott is a European citizen, so
Good timing.
yeah, I don't know how long he's been a citizen. It's been a while.
Yeah. So from a big picture sort of sense, should a game be treated more like a product or more like a service now that this has come into play?
I think they should be treated as products because there's not really any other art form that you treat as a service. That there is absolutely no path to owning a physical. Although they've tried to normalize that with streaming and not doing physical releases for television shows, like one we both enjoy, Final Space,
Yep.
for a while was completely unavailable. They never released the final season on DVD, and you could only watch it on the streaming service. So when it went off the streaming service, it was gone. And that's why the Final Space Ends book is going to have a recap of the first 3 seasons. But that's getting off topic a bit.
Yeah.
As great as Olan Rogers is, he's not really in this fight.
Nope.
But
But
it is another example of the publishers killing an art form because they don't think it makes enough money or they can't be bothered dealing with it.
it's interesting you mentioned about art. You were saying the terms like art and art form. Does the shutting down of servers equal to destroying art in your point?
I think yes. It's built in planned obsolescence, and games are art. Anyone who doesn't think so, go and play Outer Wilds or the first hour of Claire Obscure and tell me you don't cry. And I'm not saying art has to make you cry. But anyway, the definition of art is very nebulous and vague. And one of the key aspects of shutting down a game server and killing the game is that you're really taking away the product from the purchaser. And in most cases, you can't do that. It's only with Electronic Arts, not talking about EA here, that you can do that. Like, no one would accept it if, say, Leonardo da Vinci's patron decided to come into the museum and take off the paintings and burn them. That would never fly, even a couple of 100 years ago. You know, you've got a master artist and you decide, this isn't making me enough money, I'm going to take it back from the people who bought it and burn it.
Be blockheaded if anything.
Yeah, so it's not like, with games, it's not like you can walk into someone's house and take their Mario cartridge off them. It's only since we made it online connection requirements that they can do that.
I'm just you saying that. Yeah, I'm just having this mental image of Nintendo of bodyguards in Nintendo outfits coming to your house like Repo Man and just going, "Sorry, we're just gonna repossess your Mario Kart game."
To be fair, they have tried.
What?
Yeah, Gamers Nexus did a video on it a few days ago about people who have been arrested for trading in dev kits. And there's also the case from a couple of years ago of the guy who got Magic the Gathering cards early because the distributor screwed up and shipped them out early. And they sent the Pinkertons to go and bully him into giving them back.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that story. I was like, that is wild. How the hell did you do that? I mean, for you to for a company to hire the Pinkertons of all people to retrieve this, that is very heavy-handed and
Yeah, and
very.
knowing the history of the Pinkertons, if you've got the Pinkertons on your side, you're not exactly a good guy.
Okay, speaking of not a good guy, what was
Having said
interesting?
that, the Pinkertons
Yeah,
are probably going to kick in my door in 3, 2.
holding my hold your breath before you for that last digit. Speaking of speaking of not good people, one of the biggest naysayers in this movement, which was Pirate, and I know you're gonna come down hard at me about this, man. That was wild. That what he said about the whole, oh, this is not gonna work, and now you're seeing this coming into fruition, and that is wild.
Yeah, well, he was completely wrong about it.
Yeah, although.
And when his misconceptions were addressed, he refused to acknowledge that and he just doubled down on it. And now he's completely irrelevant, so I don't know why we're even talking about him.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing him up is because one of his most famous quotes comes up every now and then, and I quote, "I hope you get what you asked for and nothing you wanted." And I'm going, what is that all about? Why is it so relevant?
Well, it's a genie's wish. You know, you make a wish with the genie, and the
Yeah.
genie twists your words to give you what you asked for, but not what you wanted. And Pirate Software is basically ignoring that there's whole teams of political experts working on this and making sure that it is actually beneficial. Because if you watch the press conference after the signatures were handed into the European Commission, they had all these people on who were passionate about games and technology. And they have the background to prove that it's not just them being like, oh, yes, I love video games, and they haven't touched a game in 20 years.
I bet most of these politicians, their last game they played was either Pong or Pac-Man or
Well, that's the
Tetris.
thing. These politicians aren't that young.
Yeah.
They're all in their 30s at minimum. And based on the impression I got from watching the press conference, and they're talking about games that are recognized and well known, and not just because they picked out like it's not just that they've picked out a game that they want to pretend to be a gamer. One of the people involved is part of the Pirate Party, no relation to Pirate Software, in the Czech Republic.
Hey.
Well, the Pirate Party has a long history of advocating for consumer rights about digital media. Like, you hear the name and you get the idea that they're trying to just decriminalize piracy and make it so you can download whatever you want. That's not really the goal of the Pirate Party.
Yeah, I'm at the Wikipedia page. They're saying here they focus on safeguarding civil liberties from state or corporate powers via government transparency and public participation in democratic decision making. It's a big paragraph, but that's their first sentence. What they're advocating for.
Yeah.
But
So we've
even
got serious people talking serious business,
hmm.
and Pirate Software is just like, oh, you'll never do it right. It's not worth trying because you can't do it right.
Look at me with my with my 7 years of working at Blizzard. Listen to the guy who worked at Blizzard. That line's not gonna get old, is it?
I don't know. I'm pretty bored of hearing about him.
That's fair. But okay, what you were saying with the European Commission, though, what does it mean now that the initiative passed 1.29 signatures and in Parliament? Like,
Do you mean
what the?
1.29 million
Yeah,
signatures?
yes, 1.29 million. Yes.
It means 1.29 million people think this is a good idea
Yeah.
and care about their ownership rights of digital assets and are working on, well, lending their support to people who are working on ensuring that those ownership rights don't get eroded.
And that said, though, with the signatures being sent to the European Citizens Initiative, how powerful are they in practice?
I'm not an expert on European law, so I can't really answer that.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
But I will note that at 1.29 million signatures, Stop Killing Games is one of the biggest citizens' initiatives that's ever occurred. And it doesn't sound like a lot of people. I mean, 1.29 million people agreeing on something is a big challenge
Mm.
anywhere, but it doesn't sound like the biggest number, the population of Europe, EU, I'll just look that up. Okay, 450 million people.
Damn, that's like a
So,
drop in the ocean compared to
yes, less
450
than
million people.
1% of people
Yeah.
have signed the petition. But that's still enough to get it before the government, European Commission, and get it considered.
If the commission leans towards the self-regulation aspect of, is this a win or a dodge?
That is the big risk, because so far we've had the games industry self-regulated, and that is not going well. We can see what they're trying to do by eroding ownership rights and making everything a subscription. So, yeah, allowing the industry to self-regulate is just going to be more of that. So I think ultimately self-regulation doesn't tend to work as effectively as enforcement by the government, because you're basically allowing the people who are responsible for causing the problem to say, yeah, we're fixing it, we promise we're not going to be bad anymore, and you can't trust that.
Yeah, I'm sensing that self-regulation, it'll just be corporate speak for, we'll change nothing.
Yeah.
Although you were saying with the 1.29 million, and with a lot of backing from, well, a lot of people across the world, are we seeing gamers finally organizing effectively, or
Gamers rise
no?
up.
Or are we seeing, or is this just another cycle?
Look, I admit I'm usually pessimistic about these things, but I think if this gets into law in the EU, it will drag the rest of the world into compliance, because the EU is a big market. And yeah, there's like I said, there's 450 million people, so that's more people than are in the US. You can't ignore a market that size, and it's easier to just have one to meet the requirements in one location and extrapolate that worldwide than it is to have individual implementations for each country. So the fact that the EU might make this a law would then mean that all the countries where the market isn't big enough for it to be worth catering to specific laws in that country are likely to get better regulations by proxy. And that's one of the things that's been happening, is that because of the way the trade deals are set up between the US and the rest of the world in the US, things like the DMCA filter out to the rest of the world. That's why the US is one of the most important countries to consider when you're working out whether an a work is in the public domain.
So you reckon is the EU becoming the global regulator of digital ethics if with these sorts of things coming up?
Yeah, well, there's a GDPR from a few years ago, which is an act requiring companies to tighten up their requirements for storing data. And part of that is also being required to delete data if you put in the proper request and you live in the... Now, living in Australia, we don't get the option to request deletion for most of these companies because we're not part of the EU. Although I feel like we're heading that way. We're in Eurovision now.
Was it the new? Apparently, Delta Goodrum's going to be in Eurovision this year. So, fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah, so anyway, we're not part of the EU, but companies that want to operate in the EU have to follow the GDPR, and any Australian data will also, to an extent, be protected by the GDPR. That's why often when you log into a website, it will say you can't connect to this website because you're outside the EU, because the company doesn't want to, well, because you live wherever, whether it's in the EU and you're connecting to a website outside the EU. A lot of websites don't bother to compartmentalize the data, and that's not necessarily a good thing. It's making the internet a smaller place. But look, I think consumer rights are always, because when it comes down to it, who has the power in a dispute between a consumer and a billion-dollar company?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, even companies that aren't that big can afford to drag out lawsuits way beyond what any individual consumer hoped to take part in.
If this passes, this could be a big regulatory shift in gaming history.
Absolutely.
But then, that said, though, are we seeing the early stages of a digital dark age?
I get why you're worried about that. Like I just said, it's segmentalizing the internet. Segmentalizing? I don't think that's the right word. But
Okay, segregating. How about that?
yeah, segregating the internet. Depending on where you are in the world, it's segregating your connection to the internet. And one of the great, amazing things about the internet is that you can connect to a website from anywhere in the world and get an insight into the way people live around the world, which, as we all know, is a great way to stop people from wanting to go to war. If you can't see the enemy as not human, you can't, it's not as easy to go and kill them. So, a dark age, I can see concern. I don't think that's worth worrying about because at this stage, just because it feels like a slippery slope argument. And it would take a lot of things backfiring for the internet to suck more than it does at the moment.
Also, with this sort of movement as well, is this going to hurt indie studios more than AAA or other way round from your perspective?
Well, that was a concern that was brought up to Ross Scott,
Hmm.
that indie developers are going to be impacted more because they have fewer resources to begin with. But that's not really true because indie developers aren't the ones making games that are live servers and can be destroyed by shutting down the servers.
Oh, that's it. That'd be an interesting thing. Like, imagine if with the live service games, if it fails, should players be entitled for a refund years later?
Maybe
If
not
this
years later, but they should be entitled to run a server on their own hardware. And that's what the goal of Stop Killing Games is.
Yeah, but my hope is for EA, Microsoft, and Ubisoft to actually comply to this. But could they do it? I don't know. But then would they litigate? That's another question as well.
Can you imagine Ubisoft or EA pulling out of the EU? Because
Oh,
I can't imagine them doing that.
with EA,
Especially not
no.
Ubisoft, who are French.
Yeah, yeah. And with EA, with the FC, with their FC franchise, one of their biggest franchises, along with NBA.
Yeah, and football, or soccer, as is better known to upset people, is huge in Europe and Latin America. But yeah, it's the if EA pulled out of Europe, they would lose that market for their biggest games.
Yeah. Anyways, I think we've spoke a lot about this topic. We should go to our next topic. Frozen in Mars. So the story is apparently scientists found that biological building blocks, like the molecules that make up proteins, could survive up to 50 million years if trapped in clean Martian ice. In laboratory experiments simulating Martian conditions, pure ice protected these organic molecules from damage by cosmic radiation far better than soil or rock mixtures did. It suggests that if life ever existed on Mars, its chemical remnants might still be preserved in buried ice deposits, acting like natural time capsule. The findings indicate that future missions searching for signs of past life might have a better chance of success by drilling into deep, clean ice rather than focusing on surface soil or rock sample. Because many surface ice deposits are younger than 50 million years, ancient biomolecules could still exist there even after long exposures to harsh conditions. Oh boy. This is like the topic we spoke about last time with the whole 5,000 with the whole psychobacter preserved in 5,000-year-old ice caves.
Also, with the plot of the Doctor Who episode, Waters
Which
of
one?
Mars.
Which one?
Waters of Mars.
Oh yeah.
Some astronauts living in a Mars base drill into a glacier to harvest water, which happens to unleash some sort of bacteria or a virus or something that turns them into water zombies.
Yeah, the intelligent virus known as the Flood.
Not to be confused with the Flood.
Man, I wonder if Halo I wonder if Halo found out about this Flood thing and just went, "Hey, they're copying us."
Yeah, I don't think it's really copying, because one's more of a... Okay, they both turn you into zombies, but there's lots of things that can turn you into zombies in sci-fi. The Flood is more of a traditional zombie. So the Flood from Doctor Who is more of a traditional zombie. The Flood from Halo is a parasite.
Which can
And
turn
the
you into a zombie.
parasite has intelligence.
Yep. But it makes me wonder though, like, why is ice such a better time capsule than Martian soil or rock?
Well, a few factors,
Hmm.
but water is a particularly good barrier to cosmic radiation because it is dense. It's sort of in the sweet spot between dense enough to work and light enough that it could feasibly be used for spacecraft parts. Yeah, no, that's my point.
Although I'm kind of worried of the idea that if we go through, if we do open up this ice, if we open up this Martian ice, will this finally answer the stupid question of was there life in outer space or not? Like, is this the smoking gun that there is life on Mars?
Can you imagine if it was?
Oh man, but
I would love that to be the case.
although, okay, what would you count as a smoking gun discovery though? Within the ice, like amino acids, cell structures, DNA fragments. Like,
Uh,
what would you count?
I mean, the absolute most smokingest gun of all
Yeah,
would be sentient life.
like an amoeba or something like that.
No, I mean, like, you go to Mars and you something that is as intelligent as we are.
Okay.
Something big, multicellular, intelligent. Something, and to prove that we didn't accidentally travel, like, send it to Mars, it would have to be an entirely different something that doesn't fit into our existing model of the universe. Now, that's tricky because for two reasons. We don't know what other forms of life might look like. Like, say there's a form of life based on silicon. What would that life look like? What would its metabolism be? One of the things when we look for planets that could support life, we look for planets that would be good for us. We have no idea what alien life might be, but we have a good idea that if it exists, it will look like us. Like, not human necessarily, but that it will be carbon based and it will have similar metabolisms. But then we find weird stuff like the extremophile bacteria, because all life on Earth, we think, is going to fit into the same food chain and get food from the sun and so on. Nope, there's bacteria that live in sulfuric acid and live off the mercury or something like.
Oh damn. So even if we find like those types of species in Martian ice or in outer space, how would that change humanity psychologically? Like,
It
if we
would mess up a lot of people.
in what sense? Like, oh no, there is life on there are people. There were people out there,
Well,
and we didn't know.
yeah, first off,
Yeah,
if there's some sort of intelligent life out there, which I really hope there is, I'm getting lonely here. No, I don't really think I'm that much more intelligent than the rest of you.
really,
Really.
really.
Just because I call myself professor doesn't mean I'm an insufferable asshole. I mean, I am, but that's not why. What were we talking about again?
We were talking about, okay, how would it change humanity
Oh,
if we
yes.
found life in
So
life
you
in
find intelligent life out there.
yeah.
How does that reconcile with the Abrahamic belief that people are special?
Oh no.
Yeah, so you're gonna mess up religion big time. Because not all religions are based around the idea of a chosen people. But yeah, the Abrahamic faiths have bits in their holy books that, like the Christian one, boils down to you are made in my image, go and be custodians of the earth. So if we meet intelligent life and it's entirely different to us, how does that fit into there? Like, why did God create us in his image and then go and create some other species that isn't? That would upset a lot of people.
You know what you just said reminds me of, I don't know whether you have you ever heard of a movie called Contact?
I've never seen it.
Oh, dude, that was a very interesting movie, and it was so the person that was the main actress in this movie, she was going to go to this project, but she couldn't be selected for this project because of the fact she didn't believe in God, and everyone was like, "Oh, you must believe in God if you want to do this." If you want to do this mission, so oh man, that would be a very interesting debate to go into. Like, who would you who should we select to meet the extra lot to meet the new life?
Yeah.
But
Sort of gives me vibes of several Asimov stories, which are sort of about the place of God in science. Like, there's an Asimov story called The 9 Billion Names of God or something along those lines.
okay.
And the idea is that these monks have dedicated their order's existence to writing down every possible name of God because they believe that when that is completed, something impressive will. So they hire some computer people to come and build a computer to do the job for them. And it also reminds me of Asimov's The Star, which I won't spoil the twist, but is about a Jesuit going to investigate the source of the Star of Bethlehem.
Wait, do you mean the star is in the Arthur C. Clarke story, or
Yes, it was Clark, not Asimov.
ah?
That's I've confused Asimov twice here.
Okay. Well, another thing we also have to consider though is with if we found this sort of life in the ice, does this increase the ethical the ethical stake of human missions potentially contaminating Mars?
Absolute. Can you really justify going to Mars? And I mean, we've already screwed up one planet. Can we justify going to Mars and screwing up another? Like, even if
Oh,
we find microbial life that is proven to be native to Mars, how can we justify going to Mars and screwing up the planet when that life might one day develop into something else?
yeah, I could. Yeah, yeah. But then I'm worried about whether it will turn into something terrifying like Starship Troopers or the famous anime Terraformers. So yeah,
We've got
yeah,
nukes. We just nuke
yeah,
them before that happens.
yeah. But a nuke in space, the damage is not that significant, is it?
No, but you nuke the planet. You know,
Yeah.
before they even get out of the Stone Age, just nuke the whole planet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm thinking about that now. Like, the question would be, what would that say about Earth's future if Mars once had life? Like, imagine we destroyed Mars. And like, what would that say about Earth's future?
Oh, like that Futurama episode where they find the Mayan calendar or the Aztec calendar or whatever calendar it was,
Yeah.
and no, I think it was Mayan. It was a parody of the 2013 end of the world, 2012 end of the world series. They find a Mayan calendar which tells them the world will end on this day. So they evacuate a certain number of people to Mars, as many people as they can carry, because they something happens that disables all the spaceships. They arrive on Mars, and the native Martians pop up, and they're like, "Hey, it's you guys. What are you doing here?" And they're like, "Oh, we were just leaving. This planet's about to be destroyed." But yeah, the panspermia theory suggests that life on Earth comes from another planet or developed out in space somewhere. So that could be how life on Mars is extremely similar to life.
Okay. So yeah. So if Mars had life and it died, would you say it's a warning that planetary extinction is the norm? If that's the case, then.
Well, then we'd only have two examples and a 50% fail. Although we're doing our best to make that 100%.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Okay. We should move on to our final topic, and that is Paramount finally winning the war to obtain Warner Brothers from Netflix. Damn. So after early reports that Netflix was exploring a purchase of Warner Brothers, the streaming giant backed out of the bidding war. That opened the door for Paramount Global, backed by Skydance Media, to step in, culminating in a massive 110 to 111 billion dollar merger. That's a spicy, very
That's a
spicy.
lot of money.
Uh-huh. This would be one of the largest media mergers in Hollywood history. So
And it's
the
yet another example of the consolidation of all media under one company.
Yep, the leadership shakeup is to be expected. Major asset consolidation across film, streaming, and sports. Likely regulatory scrutiny. This deal would combine Paramount Pictures and Warner Brothers, CBS with CNN, Paramount Plus with Plus Max, formerly known as HBO Max. And the reports were suggesting why Netflix dropped out. The price was too high. regulatory and integration risks were substantial. Netflix may prefer strategic partnerships over mega acquisitions, and absorbing WBD's debt load would be complex.
I don't see any reason there not to do it.
Uh-huh. So why is this huge? So this is old Hollywood consolidation beating Silicon Valley. The combined studios would control enormous IP libraries. The streaming wars would shift from growth at all costs to survival through scale. And and Dave Ellison emerges as a transformative and somewhat controversial figure. What do you think though? Is this the end of the streaming wars, or is this another stage in the streaming wars?
No, now
Because
we're moving on to the stage where there's just a couple of massive companies fighting each other.
so it's the consolidation wars, you reckon?
Yeah.
With Netflix walking away, you reckon that was strength or a sign of weakness? You reckon?
I think it's a sign that Netflix doesn't have the loose change that Paramount does there.
Yeah,
I think if Netflix really wanted this deal to go through their way, they would have done it that way. But they didn't. So, we're not privy to their internal discussions, so it's hard to say.
yeah. What's going to be fascinating is, does this signal a return to the old school studio dominance or over tech disruption, or you reckon that type of old school studio dominance is those days are over?
No, there's absolutely going to be studio dominance. The part of the problem with the consolidation is that we're going to have a couple of companies that are dominant over the whole market.
Yeah,
So we're going to see a contraction in the variety that gets output.
yeah, yeah. So I do have a question though. If you are running these studios, are you excited or terrified at this prospect?
I'd be excited because it means I get a big payout. I don't think the people high up really care one way or the other as long as they get their payout.
Yeah, I'm. What I'm also going to be interested in seeing is, are we going to get safer, more franchise-driven content from from this big merger? Like, or are we also going to get like increase or decrease in creative risk taking?
Absolutely a decrease.
Yeah, and what I'm going to be also to see is how many layoffs are we going to see from this big merger? I mean, there's going to be big layoffs.
Yep.
Yeah. With this big merger, the one thing that's worrying me about it is movie cinemas, for example.
Why is that?
Because if I recall correctly, I posted in the news that some of the new details about this merger has arrived. So HBO Max and Paramount Plus will be combined in one service. 15 films per studio with a 45-day theatrical window for each film. We'll continue to license movies and TV shows to other studios and other platforms. And AI will be a tool for artists and never a replacement
Oh
for
no.
storytellers.
Oh no, I don't believe that for a second.
In the details or the
That they're going to not replace AI. They absolutely are going to replace storytelling with AI.
yeah.
As soon as they can, they would.
Yeah, and like I said, the whole 50 films per studio with a 45-day theatrical window. That's gonna hit a lot of cinemas hard.
Is it, or is it any different to what we've had for the last few years?
I think it would be I think it would I think it is different with the question would be, do cinemas will the cinemas better benefit from the fewer but bigger blockbusters?
Probably.
Yeah. And the other question would be like, could this lead to fewer mid-budget films getting theatrical runs as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if they're putting all that money into big movies, they want big returns.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, but when that happens, mid-budget artistic stuff tends to suffer.
I'm just concerned more if if this studio stumble, will this drag cinema recovery down with it?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Because then there'd be, if the cinemas are being propped up by these studios, then without the studios propping them up, there's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, but I think this sort of merger is it's going to be interesting seeing the competitors like Disney Plus, for example, seeing this and go, okay, we need to we need to do something bigger than what they did. So it's going to be interesting seeing this continue. Although now with this sort of merger, a lot of IPs that you know and love, even Dune, for example, I wonder how they're gonna benefit from this.
Milk it for all it's worth. Denis Villeneuve is only part of it for another one more movie. And when he's gone, like they're already making TV shows based on it.
Yeah.
And the TV shows are based on the prequels, which are of really debatable quality.
Which one, June Prophecy or
Yeah.
I'm also going to be interested in the other show, Welcome to Derry. I wonder how that's going to be affected by this as well.
Oh, yeah, because an origin story for the most terrifying movie monster ever is exactly what we need, apparently. Because origin stories always make things scarier.
Oh. Yeah, I, I'm just worried now. Damn, what was it? What are the other what are the other Warner Brothers franchises as well that we know and love that will also be affected by this? Like maybe was Cartoon Network also? I wonder if Cartoon Network is going to be affected by this as well because they're a WB. Yeah, they're part. Yeah, no, Cartoon Network Channel Hub is part of Max. I wonder how they're going to be affected by this as well.
Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, on the note, we'll take a small break and be back with our shout outs, messed up moments in nerddom, and wacky moves. We'd like to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Res. Thanks to our good friends at Res, you can get can of Res 10% discount at the checkout. Link will be on our description. Res is crafted from traditional herbs and quality extracts. It relieves fatigue and eye strain. It supports eye health, supports mental endurance and stamina. And it comes in a nice, crisp appleberry flavor. So, on to our shout out. On the 21st of February 2026, it's the 40th anniversary of Legend of Zelda. You've been a Zelda man, haven't you, Professor?
Yes, I am a Zelda fan.
So, tell them about the story of Zelda.
Well, the story is different every time, but there's
Mhm.
always a hero, there's always a princess, and there's always an evil wizard who's trying to take over the.
So yeah, the series centers on the incarnations of Link, a courageous young man of elf-like Hylian race, and Princess Zelda, a princess within the bloodline of the goddess Hylia. They fight to save the land of Hyrule from Ganon, an evil warlord turned demon king who wishes to use the Triforce, a sacred relic that can grant any wish its user desires when complete, to remake the world in his own dark image. Has he ever done it in the end?
Well, kinda. I mean, Breath of the Wild is set 100 years after Ganon has taken over, a decent part of Hyrule.
Okay, okay. Zelda's role has often been of the damsel in distress or donor who assists Link. If someone with a heart that doesn't possess a balance of power, courage, and wisdom attempts to touch the Triforce, it will split it to three triangles and bond with three people's heart embodies the required virtue. While the conflict with Ganon serves as a backbone for the series, some games have featured other settings and antagonists, with Link traveling and being sent to these other lands in their time of need. So yeah, the original game was released in 1986. This series expanded to 21 entries of all Nintendo's major games consoles, as well as a number of spin-offs, an American anime TV series in 1989, and manga adaptations commissioned by Nintendo have been produced in Japan since 1997. Legend of Zelda is one of Nintendo's most successful franchises, and several of its entries are considered among the greatest video games of all time. Okay. So, Zelda games, in terms of gameplay, are a mix of puzzles, action, adventure, and exploration. These elements are used to be constant throughout the series, with small refinements and additions in each game. Later installments include stealth gameplay, where the player must avoid enemies while proceeding through a level, as well as racing elements. Depending on the game players control Link or Princess Zelda from a fixed top-down perspective, or in a 3D world with a free roaming camera. Okay, as a Zelda fan, Professor,
Yes.
do you always get the debate which is better, Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time?
I've heard that argument many times.
Has there ever been a clear winner out of those two?
I'm not sure.
Okay, alright, fair enough. The games pioneered a number of features that became industry standard. The original Zelda was the first console game with a save function that enabled players to stop playing and then resume later. Ocarina of Time introduced a targeting system that let the player lock the camera onto enemy or friendly non-player characters, which simplified 3D combat. Am I missing anything on this on Zelda stuff, Professor?
No, I think you've covered the key points.
Oh, good. On the 26th of February 2026, it's the 10th anniversary of Stardew Valley, which you love a lot, Professor. I know that.
It's more my wife.
Fair enough. So Stardew Valley, 2016 farm-like simulation video game developed by Eric Concerned Ape Baroni. Am I right, Baroni?
I think it's just Barone.
Okay, Barone. Players take the role of a character who inherits their deceased grandfather's dilapidated farm in a place known as Stardew Valley. The game is open-ended, with the players managing the farm by clearing land, growing seasonal crops, and raising animals. Players can build skills in farming, foraging, fishing, mining, and combat. Social features include building relationships with townspeople, with the option to marry or have up to 2 children. A later update added multiplayer, allowing online play with others. The Baronia developed Stardew Valley by himself over four and a half years. He was heavily inspired by the Harvest Moon series, now named Story of Seasons, with additions to address some of the game's shortcomings. He began the project to improve his programming and game design skills. British Studios Chucklefish approached Baroni halfway through development with an offer to publish the game, allowing him to focus on completing it. It was originally released in Windows in February 2016 before being ported to several other platforms. So how are you finding it in with the game from your perspective, Professor?
I enjoy it in certain doses, but my wife is completely addicted. But what we've really been enjoying recently is a Minecraft mod pack called Sunlit Valley,
Yeah?
which is basically taking the mechanics from Stardew Valley and put.
Wait, I always thought Minecraft was just Stardew Valley.
No, not even close.
Huh. Okay. Okay, I stand corrected. Okay.
But yeah, we play Stardew Valley together sometimes.
Okay. On the 27th of February 2026, it's the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. Another game you love, Professor.
Yes.
So this is a Japanese media franchise consisting of video games, animated series, and films, a trading card game, and other. Yeah, we all know what Pokemon is. The franchise primary target age is children aged 5 to 12, but is known to attract people of all ages. It is estimated to be the world's highest grossing media franchise and one of the best-selling video game franchises. The franchise originated as a pair of role-playing games developed by Game Freak from an original concept by its founder Satoshi Tajiri. Released on the Game Boy on 27th of February 1996, the games became sleeper hits and were found by manga series, a trading card game, and anime series, and films. From 1998 to 2000, Pokemon was exported to the rest of the world, creating an unprecedented global phenomenon dubbed Pokemania. By 2002, the craze ended, after which Pokemon became a fixture in pop culture, with new products releasing this day. In the summer of 2016, the franchise spawned a second craze with the release of Pokemon Go, and augmented reality developed by Niantic. I mean, damn! What can we say? What can we say about Pokemon that they haven't done?
Just about everything so far.
Yeah, it's
What I haven't played and have always wanted to play though
yeah.
is a Pokemon survival game, which, there's Power World, which is sort of heading in that direction, but I want to be like hunting Pokemon.
Wait, when you mean by hunting Pokemon, do you mean like as in like you want to just shoot them and kill them kind of thing, or
No,
just
not like that. I mean, like, I want to be hunting them for food, materials.
That's what I just said, like hunting and killing them kind of
Yeah,
thing.
you said shooting.
Oh,
And I
right,
thought
okay.
like those hunting games where you just go and shoot things for the hell of it.
Ah, right. Fair, fair. Yeah, I don't know. I don't, I don't know if that game becomes a reality. I think the Hague would want you going. This guy started it. He
Come
spawned
at
this
me,
idea.
bro.
Interestingly, in 1999 and 2000, Pokemon was an unprecedented, ubiquitous fad in the Western world. Time magazine described it as a quote, a multimedia and interactive barrage like none other before it. The franchise, primarily aimed at children, elicited mixed responses from parents and teachers, some of them critical. In a 2004 essay, anthropologist Christine R. Yano even claimed that the reactions at one point constituted a moral panic. Damn. But nonetheless, I mean, it's a big franchise, and it's helped a lot of people.
Yep. That first couple of weeks of Pokemon Go was probably one of the strangest times I've ever lived.
You mean aside from the memes where on which side you choose? Aside from that,
Yeah, there were just people being out in public and being friendly, and it's like, okay, why aren't we like this all the time?
I still, although the funny part when it comes to Pokemon Go is the shenanigans that came with it. Like I remember a story where Pokemon Go players would gay crash a funeral and just hobble around the funeral, and I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah,
And
a
what was the
few
other one?
idiots ruin it for all of us.
Yeah, and the other one was the some girl with someone would stop their car in the middle of a highway during while playing Pokemon Go because they found a Pokemon. Uh, I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? Have you had any experiences like that when you were playing Pokemon Go?
No, I've been pretty good about it.
That's good. That's good. By the way, which team was yours? By the way, Instinct, Mystic, or Valor?
Uh, Mystic.
Oh.
I thought it would mean something more than just a color, but it's just a color.
Oh man, the the
They're
the
like,
memes.
join this team if you're into science, and this team if you like battling. But no, it's just the colors.
Really? Was that was that
Yeah.
was that the perception there? Like I saw one meme where there were like two I think it was Mystic and Valor were fighting, and then there was that meme where Instinct would just be like this Psyduck just walking in the middle.
Yeah, instinct players are a bit special.
Anyways, what is our messed up moment for this week, Professor?
I'm glad you asked.
Oh,
Our
I
messed
am
up moment is the third temple of Jerusalem.
the what now?
The third temple of Jerusalem. So basically, in Jerusalem, they built a temple and it was destroyed. So they built another one and it was destroyed. And there's like prophecy that eventually they will build a new one once the Messiah arrives or something like that. But this is the third temple, which, can't technically be built until the Messiah arrives, as far as I'm aware, but this person went and did. The third temple being Temple OS,
Oh,
created by
oh,
an absolute genius and an absolute nutcase, Terry A. Davis. This guy, if he'd been able to, Temple OS is a sort of a work of art. He basically had a mental breakdown at one point and took it as a revelation that he should create a computer operating system. And the kind of people who can create a computer operating system from scratch by themselves are incredible geniuses. He even made his own programming language called Holy C.
yeah, I can see that. Oh,
And yeah, there's these really weird decisions about how it operates, and all of this is supposed to tie back into what he experienced during his revelations. Well, so he eventually a few years ago, Terry Davis had another episode, was hit by a train. And I don't want to put him down because he was an absolute genius, but he was also incredibly racist and really not nice to work. He's actually the source of glowies, that term used to refer to CIA agents,
Wait, he
because,
introduced that?
yeah, he posted about how. Wait, he died in 2018? That was further back than I thought. Anyway, he posted about CIA agents who were following him. And the thing is, he was incredibly racist, so the CIA agents were all black, and he referred to them as glow N-words.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, if he'd stayed on his meds and been able to direct his incredible passion and skills and talents into not being a horrible racist and all of that, I would love to see what he could possibly have made. But yeah, he was obviously a genius with severe issues, and he's sort of legendary because of what he created
Hmm.
being something so out there and impossible to create for a single person.
Yeah, we're just looking at Temple OS's Wikipedia page. It said here, as of February 2026, Temple OS has been officially published on the Ethereum virtual machine file system through your UR Uncensored application store. So becoming the first fully
It's not
okay
you are.
through unsensible publication system, so becoming the first fully undeletable operating system in history.
Yeah, so he's got quite a legacy, but at what cost, really?
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Um. Anyways, onto our wacky movie. On the 26th of February 2018, A Wrinkle in Time premiered in America. Uh, this happened California, where they were treated to one of the biggest box office catastrophes of the modern era, when heavyweight Oprah Winfrey decimated a fantasy classic better known as A Wrinkle in Time. Directed by critical darling Ava DuVernay, the film starred Storm Reed, Reese Witherspoon, and Chris Pine. And here is the plot summary. After the disappearance of her scientist father, three peculiar beings sent Meg, her brother, and her friend to space in order to find him. In 2018, the Golden Schmoes Awards nominated A Wrinkle in Time in the category of Worst Film of the Year.
Oh dear. That is
It
it's a title you don't want to earn.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So in October 2010, Walt Disney Pictures retained the film rights of 1962 novel A Wrinkle in Time by Madeline L. Engel, which had previously been a 2003 television film. Following the financial success of Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, Disney hired Jeff Stockwell to write the screenplay of Granite and his book and his new Bedrock Studios. Granite had previously worked with Disney on the Chronicles of Narnia and Bridge to Terabithia films. The project budget was slated to be 35 million, which the company compared to District 9 and Bridge to Terabithia, both to which were made for less than 30 million. On February 8, 2016, it was reported Ava DuVernay had been offered the job of directing the film, and she was confirmed to direct later that same month. She became the first African American woman to direct a live action film with a project budget of more than $100 million. The decision received positive sentiments in the media industry. Oprah Winfrey was happy to see this because DuVernay herself broke barriers for non-white people in the film industry. So I do imagine I to be a brown-skinned girl of any race throughout the world looking up on that screen and seeing Storm. I think that is a capital A W E or E sum awesome experience. Yeah, okay. I don't know what happened afterwards with that movie, but Oprah Winfrey got the role on the spot without auditioning. She was texting director Ava DuVernay one day, and DuVernay mentioned that she was developing a new A Wrinkle in Time adaptation and asked if she could work with her, and Oprah said no problem. And even though this film was considered a critical and box office failure, and she had no experience with the big budget fantasy films prior to this movie, director Ava DuVernay was chosen to direct another New Gods for DC Comics, but the film is no longer in development. And I'll end it with the positive note: the cast and crew shot scenes in New Zealand for 2 weeks. During shootings, they were treated to a traditional Maori pauhiri and karakia by the indigenous people of New Zealand. The cast and crew enjoyed shootings in New Zealand and frequently spoke about their love for the country. So that's all we have for this week. To support our podcast, we're on Ko-fi. You can find us on Spotify and all the other audio platforms. We do Twitch streams as well. We've got some big news coming in a few weeks, so we'll keep you posted on it. You can also find us on social media as well. So stay happy, stay nerdy. See you guys.
Look after yourself, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next time.